Running! 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 Fucking bear! You are a fucking bitch! Die! Die! Why don't you die? Hello everybody, checking on Ezavoy, and in today's video we're going to be doing another commentary. I do quite a bit of commentaries on my channel. I like them. I like how commentary is just, I just like being able to express my opinions on things and do certain things. In the background you're going to see me be playing How to Survive Storm Warning Edition. I feel this game is very fun, very nice game. It came out a while ago. Recently it came out free with gold, so I'm like, I'll try it, and I think that this is definitely a great game. Is it the best game? There are some games that are better than it, but this is definitely a very fun game, very good game. Definitely recommend it if you want to try a fun game to mess around in. Me and my friend were doing challenges earlier, and that's actually why this video is coming out so late, so I do apologize for that. But anyway, without further ado, let's jump into today's topic, which is brains versus brawns, which normally wins, and which for the most part is better, and which should you focus on. Right off the bat, I'm going to say that brains will always and almost always beat brawns. So just keep that in mind throughout this commentary, because that is the truth. That is the truth to it. The brain, if you have smarts, you will almost always beat someone who's bigger than you, stronger than you, faster. You name it. If you can be smart, you can outrun the person relatively quickly. You can just outthink them. You can outmaneuver them. Very many things go into brains and brawns and this whole discussion. But I'm going to say that being smart is definitely the way to go. Don't be a silly-nilly or a stupid person. Be as smart as you can. Learn as much as you can, because learning is always the best, no matter what's going on. So with that said, what are some examples of brains beating brawns normally? Well, in a normal situation, an example of brains beating brawns would have to be if you and your friends if you are fighting someone and they come out and start fists swinging. You will know, if you are smart or if you have some basic understanding of what you're doing, you'll be able to easily block and understand how to block their punches, because you have those brains on your side, while the brawns is in another hole. While they only have brawns and they don't have that quick thinking and the tactics that you have. Another example of when brains beat brawns is everywhere in the real world. Almost in every single place in the real world, almost in every single time frame, any job. If you're smarter, you will get better jobs, you will get more money, and you can do a lot more than if you're strong. Yes, being strong does get you some jobs, but it does not get you a lot of jobs. You may be able to get a construction worker. Even then, that requires quite a high level of thinking, depending on what type of construction worker you want to be. You can be many different things. It all depends on really depends on how smart you are. Of course, being strong, there are some jobs where brawns does beat brains. Example, wrestling. You do need to be somewhat smart to be a wrestler. Same thing with a construction worker, but the construction worker requires a tiny bit more skill, and for a wrestler, you don't really need to worry so much about your intellect, because you're not going to be doing a lot of thinking, just a lot more pushing and a lot more stuff like that. Now, with that said, which one do I prefer for you to use, brains or brawns? I would say use brains most of the time, unless you really do just care, unless you truly don't care for knowledge. If you don't care for knowledge, you don't care about learning, you don't care about any of that, well, if I can't change your mind with this video, well, that kind of sucks for me, and it kind of sucks for you, because you're not going to get very far in the real world. Being strong does get you some places, it does get you a lot of things, but being smart ultimately is the best tool for anybody, for anyone, because the smarter you are, the more stuff you can do, and the more stuff you can get done, the more things you can help, all these different things you can do if you're smart, while if you were dumb and you were just strong, you wouldn't be able to do half of these things. Now, with that said, which one do I prefer? I would say that I prefer being smart. I am a relatively strong person. I'd say about average strength, not the strongest person in the world, but I am very smart. I'm very tactical with my thinking. I'm very tactical with my planning. I'm not so much running in and just go in with no idea. I get an idea first. I learn. I investigate. I examine. I definitely do take a lot of time just to sit there and think, okay, how do I do this before I go in? Because if I go in just straight up with no idea of what's going on, I'm probably not going to get anything done, and ultimately I won't be able to be able to get anywhere. Now that we said that, well, I'm going to give you some more examples of when brains can beat brawns. An example is when you are working. When you work, as stated before, more jobs are available to those who are smart compared to those who have low IQ and or are very strong. Those who are strong, and this doesn't mean that if you're strong, you can't be strong and smart. It's just, for the most part, people who are smart, we're going by, if you couldn't tell already, we're going by the idea that you're mostly smart or you're mostly strong. You're probably one or the other. Most of the time, if you're both, you're kind of on the mess side with both. And it's not 100% like on the same side. So compared to those two, which one is some more examples of when brains beats bronze is school. Working is one. When you work and you have to get a job done, example, you're going to want to do you have to build a building, or you have to do certain planning. That requires a bit more skill than if you were to just rush in and try out something without thinking first. This is pretty basic knowledge, I think, for most people. Most people can know how to do this relatively easy, so I'm not expecting people to just be really, really dumb and go in like completely rushing without thinking, especially if you're doing it for a job. Another example where brains beats bronze is in school. School commonly reflects the smart kids from the dumb kids and or the kids that don't wish to learn. If you are smart, if you have good IQ, you will get good grades and you will do well. Not saying this for all classrooms, but for most classrooms in most places, this is how it is. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, you can be smart, but if you're strong and you're a big brawny kid, or as I would say, brawny, sounds like a brownie. I'm a brawny kid. Yeah, fear the big fat brawny kid. If you're a brawny kid or a kid that's really big and strong and you're not so smart and you go into school, you're not going to be able to do half as much work. Your grades will definitely reflect that, and that will ultimately be bad for you. Now, with all that stuff said, I would like you guys to take some of this into consideration, especially with the brains and bronze debate. People like to state that most people will go with the smart over the strong, but this is just kind of reinforcing those ideas, because I feel that a lot of people, quite a few people I know at least, or quite a few people I've seen, have chosen to accept, they choose to accept bronze over brains, and that reflects them in not only their daily lives, but also in many things they do. For the most part, though, I don't really think that you need to worry so much about one or the other. If you're smart enough to take care of yourself and be healthy and be relatively strong, I think that you have quite a decent IQ level, because you're able to think, oh, okay, get more or less, and given the fact that there are other people that are just completely, there are other people who are on the opposite side who are really, really big and tough, but they don't have, but they're naturally like that. Sorry, I started for a bit there. They're naturally like that, and they don't have the mentality to keep that body mass for the most part. Now, this isn't hating on people that are big, but that's just kind of what happens normally. But for the most part, if you're big, you normally have a vague idea of keeping yourself big and a vague idea of keeping yourself healthy. For the most part, you are smart on both sides. I'm not stating that one side is smarter than the other. I'm not stating that one side is stupider. I'd say that they're both about on the same side. They are definitely, one's not better than the other. They're both on the kind of the low side. So with that said, which one should you stretch for? I would say be smart and be somewhat strong, because brains can get you out of a lot of things, but they can't get you through some things like lifting doors, doing manual labor. Brains aren't going to help you there, but being somewhat strong, relatively strong, being able to lift that, you will be able to do that. But don't be focusing completely 100% on that strength. I'd say try and balance it out. Maybe in my personal philosophy, it's 75-25. My brain, my knowledge, learning, that always comes first, and then bronze and getting big and muscular, and health and fitness. Health is actually 100% priority. That's higher. Knowledge is just slightly higher than that, but health, getting big and buff and just being strong altogether, that's on the 25% side, because personally, I don't like get big that much. I don't feel a neat reason to. If I were to say for you guys, I'd say choose 75-25 like me, do 50-50, or maybe do the opposite of me, where 25 you focus on smarts just so you can get by, and then 75 so you're big and strong and people won't mess with you. That's all for today's video. If you did enjoy, please like and subscribe for more commentaries and for different content on my channel. Next video is probably going to be a weapon comparison. It may not be, not 100% sure on that. I'm probably going to do another Striker's Life because I got quite a funny idea, quite a funny story in my head. That's all for this video. So, without further ado, bye.